All right. No cheers?
Should we cheers at the end?
Oh,
Okay.
I think it makes sense to cheers at the end.
Okay. So we can't drink the whole beer during the...
no, we're not drinking much at all, I would say.
We could sip here and there, I
Yeah.
think that's okay.
That's okay.
But, yeah. All right, I'm ready.
All right.
Oh, boy.
How are you going to get the music that we usually use in over this? That's going to be good.
Well,
It's
they're separate things.
It's separate.
Yeah,
Do you
I know
think he
that, but I
plays
mean-
it and just records the music?
Well, no, I know that, but
Do you?
But how are you?
Because that question indicated that you did not know it.
No, I know how it works.
All right, Zon. Welcome to the Zip Season 2, Episode 2. We're here at Midnights in Brattleboro, Vermont. My name is Johnny Gifford. I'm the producer of the Zip podcast, and here I'm with Ian Goodnow and Zon Eastis. I thought you were going to say it.
Howdy.
There it is. There, you were like, did the whole motion
I
and
had the
everything.
motion. But I
Ready
had
to
it
go.
really quick,
I was
yeah.
ready on the backup, but hey, he got it.
Zon's always ready on the backup.
I appreciate you guys for that. So we're here at Midnights in Brattleboro. It's right downtown Brattleboro, a nice little bar downtown. We're hanging out. You were here earlier for an event, Ian. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, I was here. Evangeline invited me to do a little bit of an informational session on the ballot that Brattleboro voters are going to be considering for town meeting day on Tuesday, March 4th. So, or March 3rd.
Yeah,
Today's the
third.
March 3rd.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was nonpartisan, just nobody really giving opinions, just talking about the things that people are going to see on the ballot. There's a lot of ballot initiatives that Brattleboro voters are going to be looking at, and it's a little confusing. So just walking through it with everybody and talking about how the vote would impact Brattleboro in different ways it was a great session, and it's a great example of how like a downtown establishment like this can be this community space for all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this space can be so much and is so much. And the fact that it is just a community gathering space for so many different kinds of things is exactly what Brattleboro needs, right in like the center of downtown.
Yeah.
So we're talking local discussions about political issues. We're talking lots of live music. I was
Tons.
just here last night running sound and performing here.
Oh, yeah.
You do play Magic here, too.
I play Magic here as
Yeah,
well.
Magic the Gathering. It's
Yes.
the trading card game. Is it not trading card? Is it a trading card game? Can you
You
trade
can
the
trade in
cards?
it. Yeah,
You trade,
yeah.
okay.
It's important that we explain this because Zon doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, except that I used to come to this place like 35 years ago.
And that's an amazing perspective
That
to
is
have.
an
Talk
amazing
about that.
perspective.
And we didn't play too much Magic back in those days.
But maybe a little bit.
Maybe.
Was it?
We had some magic. Magical days.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right. Wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Yeah,
but-
me either. Yeah. All right.
So again, you're watching or listening to The Zip. We're on your podcasting platform of choice. Our intro song, Stardust, was composed by Clark Hubbard, performed by the Vanderbilt Percussion Group. I just had to acknowledge that, since I didn't before. But we're here at Midnights in Brattleboro. At our last episode, we were at the State House in Montpelier, and we had some kind of awesome conversations while you were in kind of the heat of sort of the first half of the legislative session for 2026. We talked about some things like what it's like to represent people from your district while you're in Montpelier, and now we're like in the home turf more or less.
Yeah.
We're in the district I represent.
That's right, we are. That's huge.
That's huge.
And it is town meeting week as the time of recording this. This is Sunday, March 1st. When this comes out is totally up to me and my will to edit audio and video together. But that's all to say that you have the week off, and this kind of marks the midpoint of your legislative session, right?
Yeah. Except that Guilford's town meeting was yesterday.
That's right.
So I was at that, and I'll go on Monday night to Vernon's town meeting.
Cool.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about what town meeting week means for you guys as legislators, because I understand you have the week off from being in Montpelier, and instead you're in your districts showing up to your town meetings, of which some representatives go to like 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 or something.
Yeah. The rep that I share an apartment with in Montpelier, she's from the Northeast Kingdom, and she goes to 4 town meetings.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot.
And she must have to bounce like on one day to like 3 or 4 different places,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, and she has handouts for people, and she's going to talk at them, and it's a lot of work.
It is
Yeah.
a lot of work for one day.
Yes.
It makes sense why you guys have this week off.
Yeah.
Zon, tell me a little bit about how it was representing the legislature at Guilford Town Meeting yesterday.
Sure. Well, in Guilford and Vernon, the tradition is that I guess it's a little different in every town. I've just sort of discovering, but in Guilford, I gave a report. I stood up in front. The meeting was slated to go. They predicted that it would go from 10 till noon, maybe. It went till 3 o'clock.
I saw that warning on the website, and everyone's like, "It's going to go till noon," and I'm like, "There is no way."
Yeah. Well, they had some issues come up they weren't kind of expecting, and so
there always are.
Always are. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of the beauty of it.
Yeah. So I am given space to stand up in front of the community and talk for 6-8 minutes. Just tell them about what we're dealing with, what's going on up in Montpelier. So yeah.
And what's that response that like?
Well, I was actually kind of impressed that it's a very active meeting. Our moderator, Rick Zamor, had been doing it for a lot of years. He's very relaxed and very comfortable, so there's a lot of activity in the room. So even though the meeting is going on, there's stuff moving and all this kind of stuff. And I sort of became aware while I was talking that everyone was just sitting and listening pretty intently to what I had to say.
Oh.
So I was impressed. And then people came up afterward, and the numbers of people across the spectrum asking me questions and wanting to provide input and stuff like that. So it was good.
Were they all Zip viewers?
I told him about Zip.
I was going to ask if you plugged the podcast during
you
your
gotta plug
little
that podcast.
speech.
I did. I told everybody all the different ways that they could be in touch with me or where they could find information. And I said, and we have the Zip podcast. So
that's awesome.
we didn't get a big round of applause at that moment.
Okay,
but hey.
sure. One day we will.
Someday.
Yeah. And I imagine, Guilford's a rather small town. Are these a lot of people you know, like personally? I just imagine you probably know faces and names at this point, whether through your personal life or just through your existence as a legislator.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's, Guilford's meeting used to be on Tuesday during the regular town meeting. We voted a few years back to switch it to Saturday to make it more available to people who might prefer to come on a Saturday morning. It turns out, I guess, what is this, our third year, I'm not sure, of doing it. And there were probably about 200 people there. And that,
wow.
It's that's a lot for a community gathering, but it's not when you think about voting on issues.
Yeah.
And we have 1,800 voters or so in Vermont, in Guilford. So it's a small turnout. There are some people who feel like, that's one of the questions in the whole Vermont town meeting issue is, which group of people are going to be voting on certain issues, whether it's by Australian ballot or whether it's by being in an open meeting or whether it's, in the case of Brattleboro, by representatives that represent the population.
Yeah.
So what's that difference like between voting? Because Guilford, you just said votes partially by Australian ballot, partially on the floor, like most towns do. Is that like officers by Australian ballot? So what's that difference like? Do you have any idea?
Well,
in terms of turnout,
it usually depends on the issues that are on the table.
Yeah.
And if the issues are kind of up there in kind of intensity, more people will vote. I don't know. I don't have the data, but my sense is that more people do vote by Australian ballot than come to town meeting. But I think it's been that way for a long time.
Sure. It just makes sense. Like, not everyone's going to go to or be prepared to go to a 5-hour or however long meeting on a weekday or a weekend, really, and really feel confident enough to like raise your hand in a crowd and feel educated enough to vote on the issues. But on the contrary, the people who do that homework and do feel prepared get the chance to really have their voice heard and really
get
to
debate.
have debate. Share ideas with other people. So like I really view this issue of like town meeting versus Australian ballot as so nuanced, complex, and crosses partisan lines. Like it's not a red or a blue issue by any means at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
In Guilford, it so happened that one of the beauties, from my point of view, of having an open town meeting rather than Australian ballot is that actually what happened at the town meeting was that one of the articles got amended. That can't happen in an Australian ballot. That kind of action among community members, talking, hearing the issues, talking it through, and then voting on whether to amend or not, That's not possible with an Australian ballot. So the opportunity to sort of affect government right there in the room is something that can only happen in the old traditional Vermont town meeting. Yeah.
And Ian, I'm curious if you have anything else to say on the matter. You were just talking about this with a bunch of community members.
Yeah, I think it's a really important conversation for Brattleboro to be having.
Yeah.
I think RTM's been around since the 50s.
And that's to be clear, representative town
Sorry,
meeting
representative
in
town meeting
Brattleboro.
in Brattleboro. We're
Just-
the only town in Vermont that has it.
exactly, which is why we have to explain it.
Yes,
I think.
exactly. Every time. I think I totally agree with you that the discussion around open town meeting, representative town meeting, and Australian ballot, it's nuanced, it's complex for good reason, because we're talking about like direct involvement in our democratic process. And, I think it was helpful to be able to sort of talk with community members earlier today, and quite frankly, for the last month about this. There's a lot of viewpoints. I haven't been this excited about an election in a while, as far as like a local level, maybe except for the ones I run in. Because I'm really curious to see where Brattleboro lands on it.
I am too.
Yeah, and then I think more generally speaking, being here for town meeting week is just like a really great opportunity to reconnect. And I'm a justice of the peace, so I help
Look at you.
volunteer at the elections.
Yeah.
So if you vote on Tuesday, you might see me. I'm usually one of the front door people that like helps people figure out which district they vote in, so they can go to the right line.
But that's a different thing than justice of the peace, though. Right? Like I when I was living in Massachusetts, I was an election worker, but I was not a justice of the peace. That's a different thing.
In Vermont, they're the same.
Okay.
In Vermont, there are people. It's a little bit of a square rectangle issue.
Yes.
So
okay.
justice of the peace are by statute obligated to help run the elections.
Gotcha.
But there are also election workers who volunteer as well. So there are people who are volunteering at the polls that are not JPs, but all the JPs or most of the JPs are going to be there volunteering because that's part of our job.
Interesting.
Yeah. But for Brattleboro, it's big enough that we need more than just the people who are elected as justices of peace. So,
How many justices are there in Brattleboro? Do you know?
15, I think.
Yeah,
don't quote me. I don't actually know exactly, but it's like around that number.
Guilford has 10.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that maybe 10 was the highest, but that can't be right.
And this is the quick plug for Hillary Francis, who's the town clerk for Brattleboro. She works so hard, and like every year it goes off without a hitch. The elections are safe and free and fair, and I'm just always really impressed with how she makes it all happen, because I'm just like a little like volunteer, just like this little part of it, but she's making this huge production happen, and it's a lot of work in Brattleboro. It's big enough.
She does an amazing job. For sure. I'm curious, like, what else justices of the peace do beyond that? What does that role entail exactly?
We sit on the Board of Civil Authority, so that's the board that does like tax abatements and property assessment, challenging a reassessment, and going out to properties when they are being reassessed and that's being challenged to like look at the property and make a determination. The Board of Civil Authority is a quasi judicial body that does those municipal tasks, and then we also marry people. So
nice.
and I'm one of the. Not all the JPs do that, but I'm one of the ones that does, and that's really.
Wait,
fun.
have you ever married someone?
I've married like 100.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I've been a JP since 2018 or 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was a JP for probably 10 years in Guilford, and I was one of the ones that could marry. I never married anyone.
Oh, really?
Nobody wanted to get married. in
No
Guilford.
one like came up to you and was like, I want you to marry us. I mean, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
I'm already married.
It might be a little lower, a little higher than that, but like in that ballpark.
That's
great.
great.
I haven't really kept track, but
That's very cool.
I get calls and emails all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
It's
is
really
that
fun.
like, are you going to wedding ceremonies, or is this more like we want to have a town hall marriage kind of a thing?
Mostly town hall marriages.
Yeah.
I marry a lot of people on the common.
I see.
And but I've been to a couple weddings, and those are really sweet. But it's also really precious to get to do just like three of us. The two people who are getting married and me. Very private, kind of intimate moment, and I get to be a little part of it, and it's very precious.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
and some of them I've kept in touch with, and they text me stuff, and
Oh, that's
I got
great.
like someone had a baby,
Yeah, like, oh, we're having a baby.
Yeah.
Oh, we just bought a house. Oh, we're getting divorced.
Oh no! What did I
Full
do?
circle.
Will you divorce us, Ian?
Oh gosh. Yeah, it's a great role. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, moving away from that, I'm also curious, like, back to the whole legislative thing,
Yeah.
right? Your
Yeah,
legislators.
this like podcast is all about that.
Yeah. Well, hey, I think this is tangentially relevant. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm curious what else you do during town meeting week. You have the week off. I imagine to some degree it's a week to just not think about being in Montpelier and what bills you're working on. But I'm sure there's also a lot of time for discussion with your constituents too about bills, especially as we come over to crossover, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yep.
So what do you do like during town meeting week as legislators?
Well, I'll just say that I make myself available. I have the.
Look at this guy.
What?
You're just the model legislator right here. Are you're available 8 to 8?
Yeah,
Every day.
exactly. I go sit at the country store, and no, I don't do that. Actually, I would say it really is mostly a time off. I mean, we have to keep reading and look what's coming ahead. We have to know what's going on, but I'm not. I have monthly meetings in Guilford or Vernon, depending, and I put out a newsletter. I did distribute my town report, so put that out online and stuff like that. So
Now that's different than the town's town report, I imagine,
yes,
right?
yeah,
So
we
you're-
call it town meeting. We call ours the town meeting report. Yeah.
So what's your town report? How does that differ?
Mine's just basically what we do. There's a kind of a framework that we're given, and most of all legislators that do this, not everybody does it, but everybody that does do it uses pretty much the same kind of framework. And we have a whole bunch of topics, and we just pick the ones that sort of would resonate in our communities, or we've had some engagement with personally, or that seem important to get along. There are a number of things we can't even really talk about yet. We don't really have clear notions of where things are going, like with education or with the budget. We don't really know how that's going to frame out yet. We don't know about housing issues that are developed. There's so much that's going to happen as soon as we get back. It's really going to start pumping out full force.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Ian? Like, I guess, what do you do during town meeting week? And then do you also prepare one of these town report things?
Yeah. So, well, I work, so I like go
Yep.
back to my other job.
Yep.
That's and it's an important perspective to bring, like as like one of the younger people who's in the legislature, that I have a full-time job and I like work that full-time job part-time while I'm there up in the legislature. But like this is my week that I get to get caught up a little bit, so that's nice. But then yes, I will. So Emily, Molly, and I will do a town meeting report together. It's a little bit. We're kind of waiting to see what happens with the election on Tuesday, because that will inform us about where we're going with town meeting. For example, if what the result of the election on Tuesday is an open town meeting, that town meeting won't be till sometime in April probably.
Yeah,
and
exactly. I got like so many holds in my calendar right now
Yes.
for all these potential dates. It's
yeah,
nuts.
and so if it does that, then our town meeting report can be a lot different, because we'll have a lot more information by then.
That's true.
So a lot more information by then. So it'll be a lot more informative in different ways. So we're kind of waiting to see what happens. And then the other thing that I'm going to do, and we'll talk more about this with crossover discussion, but like I got some homework to work on, because there's a lot of pressure on this last week when we get back. And one of the jobs I have in my committee is kind of being a shepherd of some of the bills, trying to like help get the language through. And so I'm going to spend some of this week emailing with the different parties that are involved in those bills to try to get the language nailed down so that they're ready to vote basically as soon as we get back.
Not only that, but then also you're going to have a bunch of other bills coming your way.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Crossover. We're getting right into this. So as far as I'm aware, you come back from town meeting week, there's like 4 more legislative days, and then crossover happens, which is basically when the House bills go over to the Senate bills go over to the House, is my understanding of it.
Yeah, and mostly. Yeah, do you want to explain the rest of the way?
There's another week after crossover week where certain, and they have to be approved by both the House and the Senate leadership, certain bills or certain ideas get an extension, and they get to wait a little while. But they're still part of crossover, but there's just a little more time, just to give us a little bit more time in the schedule to deal with these really big issues.
A little bit of a grace period for those big bills, like the ones that have that kind of level of attention. But for the vast majority of bills, it's those 4 days once we get back from after town meeting break. It's those 4 days to either pass them out and get them to the Senate or done.
And that's both passing them out of committee and passing them on the floor,
yes.
right? And that's a lot.
And that's all governed by time. So like all the bills have to probably be on the notice calendar, which means we see them coming. That's going to happen in the first day or two when we get back, because there's no time. And now they can always make exceptions, of course, but they can't make hundreds of exceptions.
And Johnny, even one of the things I've learned now as a second year in the legislature, as a second year member, is that there's even more pressure now, because last year the bills that didn't make it over on crossover stay on the wall for a year.
Oh, wow.
And we can consider them this year. But after this year, they're gone.
I didn't realize bills stayed in committee through the biennium like that. I thought it was year to year.
No.
Wow.
So that's one of the reasons why a lot of the bills that we're talking about have such high numbers, is because the numbering continues throughout the biennium. So all the bills that got introduced at the beginning of the biennium were like 1, 2, 3, right? And we're up in the 800-900s now.
We're almost to 1,000.
We're almost to 1,000 because it keeps the bill numbering from last
year. I didn't realize
those bills are still. We actually just voted a bill out that was introduced last session. Yeah. So that even means there's more pressure, because people's bills that they introduced last year, they had like a second bite at the apple this session. If they don't get it, it's gone. Yeah. And the work has to restart all over new. Yeah, it's crazy.
That is so crazy. How many bills? How many bills are we talking here? Like that, and I mean, like, how many bills do you think will pass over to the Senate and will come over to the House after
we've
the
already,
next week or two?
We've already passed a number, I would say, a good number just in this session. I don't know the number, but it's might be upwards of 50 or so.
Okay.
And then and not only will all the bills cross over, and we'll be dealing with them all this week, but we're going to start seeing Senate bills coming our way at the same time. And then as soon as it's all done, we'll be dealing only with the Senate bills.
I'm in like a bill-heavy committee. Judiciary has a lot of bills, and we pass a lot of bills. We passed 2 out on Friday. I'm working on one that hopefully will get passed out on the Tuesday we get back. I think there are like 4 or 5 other ones that we're going to try to push all in the next week after.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's just one committee. So that's happening on every committee. And I'm sure some committees like Zon's have like 1 or 2 big ones that they want to get done.
Here's an example of craziness that's going on. We passed an immunization bill with the changes federal changes in the CDC and the reduction of available scheduled immunizations from the CDC. Vermont was the first state to pass a bill out of both the House and the Senate to actually produce our own schedule of immunizations. Well, we got all that done. We went through the House, passed in January, went through the Senate, passed at the end of February. I was ready to report it out that we're good to go. We need to pass this on to the governor. It's my job to report on that. I was going to do that on Friday. We found out that it's going to be amended. Someone's going to offer an amendment. So that slows the process down.
Does that mean so the Senate's amending it? Right?
No.
House
member.
The House amendment. I see. I see.
What's crazy, I don't understand yet, is this House member, as I understand it, is offering the exact same amendment that he offered when it was in the House before. I don't know how that can happen. I don't get it. Maybe he has to change it a little bit, but it's almost like there are some slowdown tactics that various people are trying to use.
Yes.
We're starting to see a few more games happening. You would call them games. They're not really games, but things going on that are irregular in the House. And I'm still too new to know what it all means or what it all is. Pretty fascinating to watch. And at the same, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
At the same time, we're still trying to keep the machine moving and get all these bills out of here.
We're just so excited to talk about this, Johnny. We're talking over each other. Yeah, because the only other context for viewers, all the viewers of the Zip who are listening
And
in,
listeners,
and
of which
listeners,
there are many.
You're right, that's true. Is that this is all happening within the context of the rules of the House, right? Like, so there are Mason's rules that dictate when bills are noticed and the timing. And so they're all operating in this structure. So it can't just be like, oh, we're ready to vote this. Great, let's vote it. It has to be warned. And if there are amendments, the amendments slow it. It's like all these different things. So you just imagine that's happening with every single bill. And there's all this politicking and math and calendar math happening. And yeah, so it's, as you can imagine, that like this last week there's a lot happening.
Yeah. And next week.
Oh,
So this is your
This is our,
this
yes.
is your like
we're
little bit of
coming to
respite.
the 2 weeks where it really, and these are and we're also dealing with the great big bills that we have that really demand a lot of care and attention. We're going to see them, and I don't know what they look like. I mean, we have ideas, we're hearing stuff, but it's not conclusive.
It's all
yet.
hearsay now of like, oh, there's this bill in the Senate about X, Y, or Z, and you're probably going to get that in a month or two. Like you're probably hearing over the course of the beginning half of the session.
Right.
And then you got to dive into it and like totally educate yourself on it like you were just doing with your other bills just a couple of months ago. And you have no time to do that homework, whereas maybe you had some time during the off session to do homework on your first round of bills.
Yeah.
So now this is like marathon time.
Yeah.
And really trusting in your colleagues. There are 150 of us in the House, and you just can't know everything adequately to be able to do, to be completely informed about everything. So you really have to trust your colleagues.
Yeah, ask a lot of questions outside of the floor when something's coming up and you have a question, making sure you find a buddy on the committee that bill is, the jurisdiction is of that, for that bill is in that committee. You find somebody to talk to, get the context. There's been, some of these bills have had weeks of testimony. Mm-hmm. You're never going to be able to understand all of that testimony, but you got to trust other people and hear from them. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
Wow.
So one other little thing. So every bill that comes toward us that's for the House to consider, the reporter has to describe the bill briefly to the House, take us through it, and make sure there's some understanding. But that it's very important what the vote was coming out of the committee. And so if you understand that the committee voted unanimously for a bill, then you probably feel pretty confident that we're on a good footing here. If a bill comes with a quite mixed vote, like say 6-5 or 7-4, you go, okay, I need to understand more about what's going on here. Yeah. And there you are getting ready to vote, and suddenly you're hearing that they had a mixed vote. You thought you were clear, and then
you're
you go,
doubting yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you guys got your work cut out for you, and I hope that you just can take this week to at least take care of yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Mostly Zon, because you're just going to be working. And, there's no rest for you.
Yeah.
No rest for Ian. Yeah.
No rest.
He's young, so he can do it.
Yeah. You're just going to run about it.
Yeah, I'll run. Yeah, I'll run.
Run, like literally run. I don't mean run for office.
Yes.
For those who might not understand the context, Ian's a big runner.
Big running guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're crazy for that.
Yeah. Well, the weather's getting better, so that
it
helps
is.
too.
It's been kind of nice lately.
It has been kind of nice lately.
Very muddy, but you're in District 9, full of pavement.
Yeah.
So
the concrete jungle of downtown Brattleboro. Yeah. The Zip has gone off the rails when we're just talking about the weather.
Well, I think it's about our 30-minute mark.
Oh, okay.
More or less. So I think it's a good time to wrap up.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on crossover before we wrap up here from either of you?
I think what I would say to anybody who's listening and is at all interested is that if now's the time to start really paying attention, it's worth it to really pick a subject and just watch it go through and see the process. Yeah. That's what we're doing.
This is a crunch time. If there are things that you are passionate about, reach out to your legislators, get in contact with people.
Yeah.
And then my only other question is, are we going to keep with these exciting locations for the Zip, Johnny? Are we going to be somewhere else?
I love it. I mean, this was our idea from the get-go. We were like, we're going to start in the studio, and then we're going to venture on outward.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll even get some more guests in the future, too. Ooh, I think that would be fun.
Guest appearance would be very fun.
Yeah. It's going to take a group effort to make that happen.
Yeah. So looking forward to it.
Me too. Cool. Well, guys, I think we should cheers here at Midnights. I want to really thank Evangeline and
Oh yeah,
Jed at the bar, and everyone for just being wonderful hosts.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is an awesome spot in downtown.
It's a really
Brattleboro,
awesome spot.
For sure.
Yeah,
I love being
thank you.
here.
Yeah.
We got to get this on the mic.
Oh yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
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 Cheers, buddy.
man.
Zon, is that the thumbnail?
Hey,
Hey!
that's the name of the episode.